Flushing your liver brings you peace. It brings you peace of mind and peace of heart. And what else is there? Everybody wants to feel peaceful. Everybody wants to be happy. And this is the first step.
Hi everyone, welcome to Wisdom Blogs. My name's Liza Collins, and this week I'm proud to introduce you to my very good friend Lara Hart. And I'm so inspired by Lara and the life that she leads. And today we are going to talk about health and wellness. And Lara's work in particular is about the new medicine for the new earth and what that looks like, especially coming from a heart-based perspective. So, Lara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
And so what I'd like to start with, there's so many things I could talk to you about, and we'll have you back again and we'll talk about more different subjects. But the one thing that inspires me the most is you practice what you preach. You have some really inspirational ways of keeping yourself healthy. And I'd like you to share some of those today, and especially the work that you're doing in the world about the new medicine for the new earth. So over to you to share your wisdom on that, please.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Yes, well, I felt many years ago that true health is wealth. And without a healthy body, there's really nothing you can properly enjoy. So about 10 years ago, I've always led a healthy lifestyle, but about 10 years ago I started flushing my liver and gallbladder, and it's something that I was compelled to do when I had an awakening, if you like. I absolutely became vegan like that. In a split second I realised meat wasn't good. It wasn't meant for us. It isn't digested by our gut. And as you know, all disease begins in the gut. So I really had a compulsion to clean my liver and gallbladder, because the liver is like the most amazing organ. It's the largest organ and of cleansing, and it's like, if it's not clean, it's just like trying to clean your body with tar. It just can't work properly. So I started this cleansing in about 10 years ago. I've done 54 liver and gallbladder flushes, and I only I chose this from Andreas. This is the liver and gallbladder flush, the only one I've ever done. So it's the only one I can ever speak of. But I have looked at others, but it is the most powerful liver flush, and it's very easy to do. It does need colonics, but that's a good thing, before and after. But it's just basically Epsom salts and apple juice to begin with for 6 days prior to the flush, for the softening of the bile ducts. And I can say early on, I passed huge gallstones, calcified stones, big gallstones. Now, I've done 54 flushes, so every emotion is held cellularly. So the way you feel about yourself, the way you project, the way you perceive, it all affects the liver. So the liver's the seat of anger, the gallbladder is the seat of courage, and the kidneys are the seat of fear. Now, courage of the heart, that's my name. I'm coming from the heart. And when I woke up, I realized it's all very well, meditating or doing yoga, or these things are fine, but if you have a dense body, a dense constitution, toxic, which we all are, because we live in the 21st century, we're absolutely inundated at every turn with the air we breathe, the water we drink. It's very, very hard to not be toxic. especially with the food we eat. Half of what we eat isn't even food. It has no place in the human body. Plus, you know, I also have my fillings removed, my mercury fillings, which weren't necessary. This was also a long time ago. And again, you know, a very topical thing at the moment with the vaccine, with the vaccinations that are given to babies. It all contains mercury. This is all toxic, highly toxic for the body. So once I'd started on the program, you have to continue with the liver flush. But last month, I do biannual liver flushes now. So last month was my first completely clean liver flush and gallbladder flush. Now, I'm not saying that everyone has to do as many as me. I've known friends that have tried this, and they may only have to do 6 or 7. But like I said earlier, my emotional or my self-worth wasn't very high, and I wasn't really loving myself. It wasn't noticeable in any way. I mean, I was very healthy, but as soon as I really woke up and really started taking control of my life and really started loving myself, then I got the clean flush. And so that's after 54 flushes. So it's something that you can't do one. Once you start, you have to keep doing them. But the benefits are priceless, because I can honestly say at 62, and I'm coming, you know, I'm 63 this year, I've never felt healthier. I'm healthier now than I was in my teens. I don't have a doctor, I don't have a dentist, because by doing the liver flush, you're letting the body behave. After all, the body is supreme consciousness. So you're allowing the body, you're serving the body. The body serves you all the time. You know, the heart beating, everything that's going on in the body. The liver flush absolutely boosts the immune system. So your immunity is just, you know, I'm just never sick. I'm just always well. Because my immune system is so strong. I've never, you know, well, maybe many, many years ago, but in the last certainly 30, 40 years, I've not needed a doctor. So this is the new medicine where we're, you know, you're your own master, you're your own doctor. This is what I've realized. And that health there's no point in having money if you can't enjoy it, because you're sick, you can't walk, and let's face it, we are sicker than ever before. We are bombarded with toxic drugs that add to the burden on the liver to detoxify. We are toxic wherever you go. It's not by and large our fault, because we've had this brainwashing, we've had this, you know, matrix forced on us that we're just beginning to understand now. But this is a freedom like you've never known before, because you know, if you've got any aches and pains, they literally disappear, because the body, the liver's almost ecstatic, like, oh, at last I'm clean, I can do my job. And the gallbladder, and like I say, I can speak from experience. I just wholeheartedly, if you know, the liver's a seat of anger. If everybody did a liver flush properly, there'd be peace on earth. Because, and also they don't want you to know this. It's very relatively cheap, but it's very, very effective. They don't want you to know this, because they'd be out of a job. You know, you wouldn't have to go and get, and let's face it, when you take a drug, it's 96%, I think, inflammation. It's heat, isn't it, with a chemical reaction. When they come together, these chemicals, and that's why you get the list of side effects as long as your arm. You're just adding more toxicity to the liver, so you're burdening it more. And the liver is, you know, it can regenerate. It's incredible, as we can. Like, you know, every 7 years our cells renew. But they only renew to the level of health you had 7 years before. So they only renew to that level of health.
Oh, okay.
So if you're healthy, you know, you're going to get super healthy when they actually recharge, because they're recharging with a completely clear system.
Yeah.
No homeostasis comes from drugs. It's just insane to think that you can take a vaccine or a chemical compound through pills or chemotherapy or whatever to promote health. It's just insane. And
did I tell you many years ago when I first did my liver flush what happened?
no.
There was, so about 10 years ago, I had a really awful ache on my right hand side, in my right shoulder and my back, right about the back of my kidney. And I went to the GP, who said, oh, you've got gallstones. And my father had his gallbladder removed, and she said, oh, they'll just whip it out because you don't need it. And that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable that they were just going to whip my gallbladder out. I then found the gallbladder flush and did my first one and passed over 1,000 stones. And any feelings of anger I had in my body as well all kind of dissipated. So I can confirm all that happened for me. And I went back to my GP. I'd had a scan afterwards that showed I had no gallstones in my blood, in my gallbladder. And so she said, no, they're mistaken. There's nothing in there at all. And that was after the flush. So that was great to confirm that there was nothing being shown. And excuse me, I went back to the GP and explained what I'd done and said, why aren't you promoting this? Because you're right, it only costs a bag of Epsom salts and some apple juice with some malic acid. And she said, oh, we just don't know whether people will do it properly. So they are aware of it, but they don't promote it.
No.
But she was quite happy for me to go into hospital. And the cost of me being in hospital for 1 week would have been thousands, tens of thousands. And that was acceptable rather than saying, go away and do a liver flush. So I just wanted to add that in, because obviously I'm just confirming my experience is exactly right about that. And
then, of course, allopathic medicine is all about, well, it's about drugs. So they only know how to, and one, they only deal with the symptom. They rarely deal with the root cause. So, you know, I've lost count of the number of people that they've got gallstones, they've got gout. This is all from the toxic liver. And they only know how to give you a drug. That's what they're paid to do. That's what they've been trained to do. But the whole point of, the whole essence of good health is homeostasis. It's the balance. If the body's in balance, the body's constantly trying to bring you back into balance. Because it knows its business. And, you know, allopathic and naturopathic or homeopathic or any sort of so-called complementary medicine is nourishing for the body. It's beneficial for the body. And although, like you said, it's only Epsom salts, and yes, that's relatively cheap, but I would say you do have to pay for the colonics. Because forget doing enemas. Well, in my experience, I couldn't deal with that. But again, that's so cleansing for the body, for the gut. And like I said, all toxicity begins in the gut. All disease begins in the gut, because the gut is a brain. And when you've been feeding it putrefied meat with worms and parasites and, you know, fish and things that just should not be in our body. We can't, you know, we're not lions. We don't sleep for 3 days after we've eaten a steak or kill. We've got a tiny stomach. We've got very little hydrochloric acid in it, unlike lions who have masses of hydrochloric acid, and they also have a massive stomach and they sleep it off. But we cannot digest those. We cannot digest meat. So, you know, the future is definitely vegan. It has to be. But apart from the suffering of the cows, that's, you know, and the animals, that's another story altogether. But for our bodies, we cannot break down this protein, this meat protein, and it just sits as fecal matter stuffed right up in the, I mean, when I first had my first colonic, I thought my insides were coming out, because, you know, and the same with the gallbladder. and the stench of the gallstones,
Yeah.
this putrefied, calcified matter that you've held in.
For decades.
Pardon?
For decades, probably.
Oh gosh, yes, that's what I mean. I mean, like I say, I'm in my 60s, so I'd had, 5 decades of being fed meat and veg and all the rest of it, and fish, and but the instant I went vegan, I had to do that. I had to just get rid of it. And what you said about the doctor saying to you, oh, we'll just whip out the gallbladder. You see, in life, there's nothing to be got rid of. That makes me, I can feel, when things only hang around for you to learn from them. Everything is for you. Everything happens for you. That when you're out of duality, when you're in the gap, when you're in the 0 point, and you don't look at anything in life as good or bad or positive or negative, there's just life. It just is. And ultimately, everything is good. And, I'm sure lots of people would argue that. But in my experience, it really works. Because once you come into that place of peace, and I have to say, the liver and gallbladder flush has enabled me to release all that toxicity, release all that anger, that it affects the brain. Of course it does, because when the blood isn't oxygenated, it's sick blood. It's filled with meat protein that shouldn't even be in the body.
But it's the filter of the body, isn't it? I mean, that's what I've really become really quite passionate about the liver, and probably since I've met you as well, even more so, because it's such an obviously my background is in health for 30 years, and the liver's not talked about. The heart is talked about, the brain is talked about, as if, cancer's talked about, but we don't ever go back to talking about the liver. And I do feel that actually it's the liver that decides whether our brain is healthy. It's the liver that decides whether our heart's healthy, because that is the filter. And it's like our car. If the filter's clogged up, and like you said, the healthy blood can't pass through and take that clean blood to all the different major systems of the body.
And this isn't a new thing. It's thousands of years old. The Egyptians did liver flushes and cleansing, but more than ever now we need that, because we live in such a toxic society.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said earlier, it's no fault of our own that happens, because we're all bombarded with toxins from our furniture, from the chemicals that we use to wash our hair, to clean our homes, the air that we breathe. And the liver obviously knows what to do. So really all we're talking about, and really what you're talking about and promoting, is we're just giving the liver the helping hand that it needs, because it knows what to do. It just needs us to take some of the rubbish away in order to allow it to do its job.
So it can breathe. The whole system can breathe, and and then it does it. It knows its business. It just gets on and keeps you healthy. And I feel that I'm an example of perfect health, because I don't need all these things that other people my age, they have all these appointments, and I wear glasses for reading, but I haven't got anything wrong with my eyes or my teeth, or my and like we were discussing earlier, the menopause was a breeze, because I haven't got any sort of major health problems that cause an imbalance. So as with menopause, the hormonal balance is vital, and that's what people suffer with. That's why people suffer, because they're so unbalanced, and it manifests as ill health. Partly the reason for so much sickness is because we've lost our divine power and our divine connection to perfect health, because that's kept from us, and it's kept from us for a good reason, because then they'd have healthy people. I mean, the whole point of what's going on at the moment is to poison us. Let's be honest about it. It's to poison us. Anybody who takes a vaccine must be out of their mind, in my opinion, because it's full of toxicity that is not beneficial in any shape or form. And it directly, especially going into the bloodstream, it's going directly, it's an onslaught for the immune system. You know, it's an absolute onslaught. The immune system is just in shock when it gets these chemicals coming in. I mean, it's profoundly, incredibly capable of keeping you alive and keeping you healthy, but not if you're bombarding it with these foreign, highly toxic chemicals that it just can't cope with. So, and it's completely different from getting it through the other orifices, which people don't seem to understand. You know, when you get a virus or a cold, it enters through the ear. I mean, I give my daughter hydrochloric acid drops if ever she feels a cold coming, because the antigens get through the ear and the nose and the mouth. And, you know, here we all are wearing masks. You know, we need to put on ear muffs, because that's, if you believe that. But it's just, you know, we've lost, we don't even know about our bodies. Like you've just said, the liver is phenomenal. I love my liver. I tell it every day. I'm so in love with my liver. And of course, when they say, oh, we'll whip it out, this is allopathic medicine. Oh, if it's not working, we just remove it. Oh, you've got a bad leg, we just cut it off. I mean, there's nothing in life to be got rid of. Everything comes with a message, even if it's a frozen shoulder, a bad, you know, a painful knee. It comes with a message. Every part of our body speaks to us. And if you've got the ears to listen, then you get the wisdom. So if you're willing to put something in, but people just want the quick fix. They just want the pill and get back to doing what they're doing. But it
just tends to be abusing the body. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? People want the quick fix because they like the abuse. They like to eat what they want. They like to drink what they want, smoke what they want.
Yes.
And then
we're seeing it, unfortunately, on a global scale. We are now seeing self-abuse on a global scale, because people are willing to give their divine breath up for this tyranny. I mean, let's face it, it's like martial law. We are willing, we're sacrificing our very breath, and we think that's fine because it will get us down the pub quicker. So, you know, think very carefully. Anybody who's watching this, that's my plea. Think very carefully before you inject yourself with this poison, because there's no coming back from that, really, and they know that.
But also, like we said before, you know, there's no profits, is there, in healthy people?
No, none whatsoever. And I don't need. The body needs very little. It's divine consciousness. It's supreme consciousness. I mean, when you think about the body and what it does, it's just it must be honoured, because it's capable of really incredible things. So you just need, and once you've done it, once you're clean, and like I say, the actual taking of the grapefruit juice and the olive oil, which is the thing you take after you've done your Epsom salts, and you only have to fast for 24 hours. Once you see it, you feel so great. Once you see these gallstones coming out, and you feel lighter. You lose weight, of course, because
your eyes become clearer, I noticed.
Yes, everything. You're super healthy if you see it through to the end. And then, like me, you just have to do it twice a year. I do it twice a year without any stones, and it just keeps me, change of season. I do it twice a year, spring and autumn, and that's all you need. And then the body, the liver's completely able to, the many toxins that come in, it can deal with it, but it's not forming stones anymore.
Yes.
Because the bucket's full. When it's forming stones, the bucket, and the genius of allopathic medicine, we just take it away. We just cut the gallbladder out. The intrahepatic ducts in the liver hold the gallstones too. There are so many which can't be seen on a scan, which can't be seen on ultrasound. you know, and doctors know this, they can't really see what's going on, you know, and nor should they, because it's proof when you do the liver flush. I feel doctors would always find some explanation. Oh,
Yeah.
they don't believe that, you know, it can be as profound as this.
Mm-hmm.
But they would never try it to know. So, you know, you can't deny thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people have done the liver flush, and the aches and pains, they've disappeared.
They do.
So I think this book is really an amazing book to have, and everything, if anybody's interested listening to this, this is the book to get. This is the book that will take you to perfect health.
Yeah, and I'll link that below in the show notes so people have got access to that. And I agree, you know, I've got that same book, and it's one of my most important books on health. So in terms of just starting to wrap things up, so what would you say are the top couple of points that people need to remember about what the new medicine looks like in the new world?
Well,
top things.
I would say that the liver flush is key. The liver flush holds the key. It's the starting point.
Yeah.
And then when you release all that toxicity, you become lighter. You don't feel mentally. You become more focused, and you become more peaceful.
Yeah.
You really do become more peaceful, and you've no need. You can take charge of your own health. Once you walk into the doctor's surgery, you're powerless.
Yeah.
Because you've given yourself up to his power, and he's a stranger.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't know me.
Yeah.
I know me, and I know what I need, and I know what feels good, and I know health doesn't come in a pill.
Yeah.
So yes, if anybody's inspired by what I've said, the book is the way to go, because it not only tells you how to do it, but it gives you all the benefit. I mean, who doesn't want perfect health?
Yeah.
I can't understand why people want to go to the doctor when it's so simple. So you've experienced it too. And
we do regular flushes as well, you know, and I think like you get to the stage when you just do then the flushes that change a season. So we've got our flush coming up in the next 2 weekends. On the next new moon we'll do our flush. Yeah. And I think that was always part of you know, our culture anyway, to be doing. If you think about Easter and Lent, that's, you know, that's fasting, and it's fasting in the springtime. Our bodies know these rhythms, and again, it's just tuning back into that kind of that heart wisdom, isn't it? And that inner tuition and the inner wisdom, and just really going with the body rather than working against it. And I guess one thing to say as well for people, because there might be, you know, some people that the liver flush is not going to work for, but ultimately I think, and you probably agree with this, if you get hold of the book will explain everything. The book will explain how to do it, you know, the exact way to go through the actual liver flush, making sure that you have your colonic beforehand, your colonic afterwards. And it really does walk you through all of the steps. So if you have any questions, the book will answer all of that. And obviously it's up to every single person to make that choice themselves. It's something that we've both done, that we've found tremendous benefits from doing. And I wholeheartedly recommend it to everybody. And like you, I'm such a big fan of the liver, and I really do have so much respect for my liver, what it's doing for my body. And like you, I have that gratitude every single day. And I never used to feel like that, but all of this has really helped me to realize it is like the most important organ in my body.
It really is a life changer.
Yeah.
You know, if you want sickness, keep going to the doctor. But again, like I've said to you before, the focus isn't on health in the National Health Service, it's on sickness. Because that's the radical difference, that I focus on health and well-being, but they focus on sickness. So they focus on curing sickness, I focus on maintaining health and doing everything I can to keep in what I eat, what I think, how I react and respond to people, how I treat people, how I treat myself. This is all part of it. And this really, to come back to where we started from, you know, when I give out my cards, the new medicine for the new health, for the new earth, from the One Heart, that's something that I'm passionate about. That we have to stop eating animals. We have to stop. It doesn't benefit us at all. You know, I've been a vegan for many, many years, and I'm still alive and are thriving.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get rid of all that, and the sluggishness and the way you felt eating meat, it will just, you know, you'll feel brighter, you'll feel alive.
Yeah.
And it is time to come alive for all of us.
I
We
agree.
need to come alive now, and we need to really embrace our bodies and treat them with respect,
Yeah.
and the animals, because, you know, that's part of it. We eat rubbish. So
I totally agree. So how can people get hold of you?
Well, I don't have anything formal. The work I do, and this is just one part of it, is freely given. So my work up till now has been just, if I meet people or people are interested, then I'm happy to serve them.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. It's a service to humanity, that I've created this life that I'm able to do this. I don't, you know, I don't charge for anything. I don't have a website. I feel that I embody, in my own body, I embody health. So if people are interested in health and well-being in every area, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I can offer what I know, what I've experienced. But in
Fantastic.
terms of, you know, I can give my email, or
I think, yeah, I can add your email to the show notes. And I'll add it below, and I'll add it in a way that the bots can't read it and send you lots of spam. But I will link it below for everybody who would like to get in touch with you. And I think we'll wrap up on that point. And I think I'd just like to say to everybody that Lara has been an amazing mentor for me, and always inspires me every single day to really look at how life shows up for me, because I think you were the first person that mentioned that to me, and I've heard it multiple times since, and that really helped me to change my frame of reference to, instead of life, you know, happening to me, it happens for me, and what am I learning from that? And also, I think from terms of health and well-being, you inspire me every day. The fact that you don't have to go to a GP, you don't have to go to a dentist, you know, you live your life in a way that is clean, is compassionate, and your body reaps the benefits of that. And I know that you do share your gifts so freely with everybody that you meet. So I would encourage anybody who has been inspired to get in touch today with Lara, and she'll be happy to serve you in any way she can. So on that note, I'd like to wrap things up, and I'd love to bring you back again and talk more about other subjects that you are an expert on, in my opinion.
oh, thank you.
So yeah, so if you've liked what we've talked about today, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really does help us to get this message out there, to share the wisdom. And again, this is all shared freely. And this is incredible information that comes from decades and decades of experience. And it's offered out there to help other people to develop and to thrive and to blossom in today's world. So thank you very much for joining me, and thank you all for watching. And take care.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank
The
you.
present moment is all there is, and we're here to love and support each other. That's why the work I do is given freely. It's just, that's the way it is. That's the way it's been for me. That's what's been given to me, and that's what I'm here to do, to share my wisdom, my truth, with humanity.